What's up guys, welcome to a new video. Today I will be showing you some HOG 2.6 cycle gameplay. I gotta say that this is one of the most legendary decks in all of Clash Royale history. It has survived the majority of the different balance changes and it has always just been consistently good. However, recently it was not the best option due to some very broken decks that would do very well against this variant. But I do gotta say that this is the deck that I have the most experience with. I think it's the deck I've played most in my Clash Royale journey, so I'm really excited to bring it back to the channel and just show you guys how this right now is extremely powerful. And if you learn how to play it well, you become unstoppable because it has such a quick cycle and such strong defense against even beatdown decks like Golem or other faster cycle decks such as Logbait, which is the one we're playing against right now. So I'm really excited to just show you guys how to play this deck right here. So starting off, you can see that it is being a very crazy game. Both players were putting a lot of pressure on our opponents, and just starting very aggressively. You can see that he's constantly, and I am constantly at very low elixir because it's constantly a push. Both players are being very aggressive. However, against Logbait, basically what you want to do, usually Logbait decks have one defensive building, such as a bomb tower or a Tesla, and a very fast cycle. So what you want to do is, since you will probably have the faster cycle, you want just to play a Hog Rider at the bridge. When they use their building, you cycle quickly through your cards, through your Ice Spirit, through your skeletons, through your Ice Golem, and then you are able to put another Hog Rider. It's very important to predict those skeleton armies, as you can see with the log I did there. It's a risk you take, but since you have the Fireball to counter the Goblin Barrel, it is a risk that is worth taking. You can see that in the next push I also do a predict, but this time I switch it up since I predicted his skeleton army and he has used it right now. I believe that he's going to defend my Hog Rider with minions, which is what he did in the first push. So I instantly Fireball, I get all the minions, and I hit the monk and the tower, and it's basically in Fireball range right now. So what we have to do is just defend. What you want to do is save the log for the Goblin Barrel if possible. If not, don't worry, you have the Fireball. So I put the log very behind the tower because if it hits the Golem while he has his ability up, the log will bounce back towards the tower and deal damage to not only your tower, but to your troops as well. So here we just Fireball, we keep the log, and we're doing just the right things to keep these Logbait player out of our lobby, and just using that cannon against his troops and getting the W. So this next game I believe is extremely intense. I remember it's also very fast paced, but I was losing for the majority of the game, I think, and in the end we managed to make a comeback. But in the end, I mean in double overtime, so it's a long game. But it's very cool to see. You can see that this is just starting off the game. You want to just test out your opponent, see what kind of cards he has. You can see that he is playing very aggressively. He puts the Miner, the Mighty Miner, of course the Firecracker, which absolutely everyone in this meta is playing. However, what is good about this is that we get King Tower activation, and since he's playing Miner, that's bad for him. So we go with a counterattack because he has spent a lot and he uses his bomb tower to defend, so we know that he has no more elixir. We log his troops and we get a bit of damage into the tower, putting ourselves in the lead. Right there you can see the importance of counting elixir and knowing just when your opponent is low on elixir, because he used his Spear Goblins, and since he had pushed being very aggressive on offense and had wasted a lot of elixir, I knew that his bomb tower plus his Spear Goblins had left him around 0 or 1 elixir, so logging them could give me a lot of value in that instance, which actually it did. So here I play my Musketeer on the right side. I usually like to play my Musketeer on the right side, far side, and the cannon on the middle. That is why I'm starting with the Musketeer right there. And then just using the log not only to cycle, but also to help out the Musketeer survive a bit longer. Also using the cannon, which is amazing against these troops, against the wall breakers. And then the Mighty Miner just will not get any hits, and the Firecracker is almost dead thanks to that log. So then again, just cycling, catching the Ice Spirit, catching the Miner. The Miner does not get any hits. and the king tower actually helped a lot over there. And now that the using a fireball against the evolved firecracker, I was going to go with a hog rider push. However, I prefer to just play safe and kill the evolved firecracker before she becomes a problem. Here we go with another musketeer on the right side. We prepare the log. Here we actually miss a log because I didn't know if those wall breakers would pull. But look how that log actually catches the spear goblins on the bridge. So that came in very, very clutch. Here we're going to use a prediction fireball to hit the firecracker and the bomb tower. However, he very smartly puts the bomb tower on a different side so that I cannot get that prediction off. Here he predicts that I'm going to use the skeletons with his log, which is very well done. However, again, since my king tower is activated, his miner is not going to get many hits on my tower. Again, another musketeer on the right, a nice golem to protect her. We're not going to go in with a hog rider because he has his mighty miner coming up and we don't want him to build a strong push against us. But since he uses a bomb tower, we just reset with the musketeer, log it, and then go with the hog rider since he does not have another bomb tower in hand. However, since due to his very fast cycle, he does cycle back to another bomb tower while having a evolved firecracker there, but he manages to give us some value on that fireball by using the spear goblins as well on that side. Right now what we want to do is just cycle hogs all the time and use logs to try and get the hog to the tower at least one hit, and by doing that we're able to cycle a bit faster than him and pressure him so that he doesn't attack as much as he wants to. So here we defend the push very well. The firecracker is left alive, but we go instantly with another hog rider, an ice spirit, and then we will log the bomb tower. However, since he used an ice spirit, our hog rider will not be able to actually get to the tower. Here his firecracker actually dies, which is very clutch. And we just go in with another hog rider. It's just rinse and repeat. The more aggressive we are, the less of a chance that he has to spend a lot on offense. And right now we're actually winning on damage, but his evolved firecrackers are going to be dealing a lot of damage to our towers. Here he changes tower, he goes to the right instead of the left. We missed the fireball because of the evolved firecracker actually changed sides, and now he has two firecrackers on the table. So we just have to keep putting units on the middle so that those firecrackers do not shoot at our towers. That one actually gets one hit, and those wall breakers almost hit our tower, but in the end they do not go there. Our musketeer almost kills that evolved firecracker. Not gonna lie, it didn't even touch her. But thanks to our fireballs, logs, and pressure, we actually managed to take down the tower, even though he had two firecrackers on the board, and it came down to the last wire. If one of those wall breakers would have hit the tower a couple of plays before, I think we would have lost that. But we take the W and we move on to the next match. This one, I believe it's a sort of 2.6 versus 2.6 almost, but he has a different variant because instead of having the ice spirit, he has an electro spirit. Here, what you want to do early on is activate your king tower with the electro spirit. However, I do not get the chance, and I actually do not manage to do that. So what you want to do is get a lot of spell damage early on, since it's a mirror matchup and it's very difficult to break a 2.6 defense. Here he uses a very aggressive fireball, which is using the principles I told you of being very aggressive with spells early on. However, we try to use the musketeer to our favor by doing another attack, but the log manages to finish not only that off, but the ice spirit. However, since we do get a hit, I think it's worth it, since now we're up in damage by a bit, and the cannon will finish off his hog rider by giving us a 1 elixir advantage in that trade, since he spent 4 on the hog rider and we spent 3 on the cannon. So you're gonna see us in this game just cycling logs to his right side tower a bunch in order to chip out his tower, since we know that this game is obviously gonna come down to double elixir unless either one of us makes a very big mistake, and that's why we want to keep doing chip damage. You're also gonna see me place the musketeer very far away from the tower, so that to not give him any fireball value where he can hit our musketeer and our tower at the same time. Here we fireball that so that he doesn't put a hog in the middle, It was a bit of a value. We couldn't defend the musketeer if not. And he decides to go to the opposite side. We put the cannon very high up, again, for the same reason, just in case he fireballs or prediction fireballs. One thing you want to do with HOG 2.6 is that defenses can become very repetitive, and that can lead opponents to get very easy predicts. For example, if you put your cannon every time in the same spot, they're going to learn it, and in one of their attacks, they're actually going to use it against you by using, for example, a prediction fireball or a prediction lightning or something like that. By switching up your placements, your musketeer placements, your cannon placements, and all of that, you're actually minimizing the risk of getting predicted. So you can see that at the cannon, I'm constantly putting it in different sides, always far away from the musketeer, again, for the same reason, to not give him value to his spells. And you can see that just by cycling spells and defending, we're able to cycle him out. We're not using Hog Riders to not give his cannons value, but we could go on the right side with a Hog Rider. But I prefer to just keep using logs and wait until one of our musketeers actually takes down his cannon. You can see, however, that since his cycle is so quick, that doesn't even hurt him, and I waste that fireball by not hitting the tower and not getting any value on the cannon. However, we're still up in elixir. That Hog Rider is is not the best Hog Rider you could use, since first of all, it didn't get to the tower, but you're launching it against a musketeer and some evolved skeletons, which can be very scary if you don't have log in hand. And then he's just going to keep playing cards to the bridge. Again, we missed that fireball. We were getting very nervous in this match, and we missed the fireball, and we have to use a musketeer on defense to stop his musketeer. His musketeer gets one hit, but since he's focusing on the left side tower, we're not that scared, and since we're up in damage, we're not that scared either. However, we believe that now he's going to change to the right side because it has lower HP, and we're right. Here we put the cannon next to the musketeer. It's a very big mistake, but thankfully he misses the musketeer. He hits the tower instead, but his Hog Rider actually gets a hit. So here we use the fact that he has already used his fireball, and we use our musketeer and an Ice Golem and a Hog Rider to get a bit of pressure down. We actually take down the musketeer, and we launch another hog very quickly. You can see just how fast 2.6 cycle is. We cannot break through his cannons. Here we start to push, just using very, very, very small cards in order to break down his defense. However, he puts the cannon just in place in time, and we managed to get only one hit. Again, to stop his musketeer, we put a nice golem and a musketeer away from the tower. And here we have to defend his Hog Rider with an Ice Spirit and some skeletons, which actually get the job done and only let him get one hit off. So I think that's very worth it. And you can see that we only got 2 or 1 hits with our Hog Rider, and the rest was done by our spells. So that's how you play this deck. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment on what you want to see next. Please subscribe since it helps us out a lot, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. See you.